Top sports where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist. Will to bring in fire, cowboy, tie riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold. And it's truly eyebrows running the show. It's High Top Sports, baby.
Let's get it. Let's go. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to High Top Sports. Happy Sunday to all of you beautiful people out there. It's been a couple days since we've seen you. Well, just Friday. That was it. We saw you Friday, and but it feels like a long time. When you go on a run like we did for quite some time during football season, a day off can get you a little bit of rattle a little bit. You know what I mean? So here we are, ready to rock and roll. Had a great game today at Cody the Prof. He'll be joining us here in just a minute, but he live streamed the basketball show, which was a pure dominance performance by the boys. We'll talk about that game. We'll talk about some great things happening from the Sumrall camp in regards to High Top Sports, which is really cool. And then we'll kind of talk about what the expectations are heading into this season, 2026. I feel like we're going to talk about it plenty, but it's time. It's time to start setting the expectations, the understanding. I think Allie P kind of nailed it on the head of like where her thoughts are, what a successful season looks like to her from a record perspective. And I kind of want to talk about that a little bit more from a record perspective. I think there's a recruiting perspective, a development perspective. It's tough in the development department because I believe the retention, but we'll talk all about all of today. So be sure to smash it, like it, do all the sexy stuff to it. And Cody the Prof joins us here on this beautiful Sunday evening. How you doing, big guy?
Pretty good. I mean, just an absolute dominant performance from our boys, on the court. And first time in Todd Golden's career that he absolutely dominated a team from buzzer to buzzer. I mean, it was a perfect game. The threes were still a little erratic, but when you score, 30 points in the paint almost, I mean, what's it matter?
Yeah, look, I mean, I was able to catch bits and pieces of it. I saw a good majority of the first half, and then they ran away with the show in the second half there. But I saw Bruce Pearl put out a tweet of like, this Florida team, the defending champions, isn't as good. Or the backcourt, maybe he said. I think he did say the team, but backcourt / this team isn't as good as last year's team, but is the best team in the SEC. And this is a down year for the SEC. And although the backcourt may not be as good as last year's, it's not. I mean, and we've talked about that. To try to replace Walter Clayton, Elijah Martin, and Will Richard, I mean, two of the three of those guys are absolutely hooping in the NBA right now. Will Richard and Walter Clayton are doing phenomenal things. And Elijah's, doing well too. But first of all those guys were very experienced, had been in the league. Elijah Martin had already been to a Final Four. I mean, you had just an elite backcourt. The front court was growing. You had Alex Condon that showed glimpses that was supposed to be a first rounder, gets injured, really didn't live up to the expectations in the tournament. Thomas Houck comes out of nowhere, becomes an absolute star, right? And then Ruben Chinyelu, I mean, he has been the star of the show this year. We can't talk about him enough. And again, the front court, although was one of the best rebounding teams last year, didn't provide much more to that if we really want to take into consideration. So yes, our backcourt may not be as good to what it was, but I said at the beginning of the year, and I noticed it, and they finally are starting to click back once again. I don't need my backcourt to be what it was last year. The front court can be what it can be, and those guards can play like a different style of play, which is score in transition quickly, protect the ball, handle the ball very well, get steals, right? And Boogie had 8 of those today, and they had only 2 turnovers. Walter Clayton was good for 5 turnovers a game last year. And that's not me knocking. That's just straight facts, okay? But my man was a turnover. Now, he made up for it, okay? His kill-death ratio was phenomenal because the guy could shoot lights out. So it's a different style of basketball. And like you said, to Todd Golden's to date, and we've said it, this team dominates. It just completely just boa constricts you. They score with ease. It's like watching poetry in motion when they get the thing going. Last year, we were the cardiac kids. This thing, when it's humming, buckle up, boys. It ain't slowing down.
I got that wrong. It was 30 points in the paint at half. 70 total, 76 points in the paint. So when you're scoring like that, that's something we couldn't do last year. That's something we were begging for, is to drive down in the paint and score with the bigs, and we just couldn't do it. We get in foul trouble and stuff like that. And I'm gonna say it again. I don't know where they sent Chinyelu. I don't know if he slept at the O-Dome. since the day after the national championship. I don't know what they did with that guy. It needs to be studied because he has really turned into probably the best defensive player in all of college basketball right now. I mean, he had multiple transitions where he went from a bigger guy standing up defending a bigger guy all the way down to a point guard and had him locked up. I mean, I'm not talking like there was space. I'm talking like locked up, seatbelt, like a good man-to-man DB. That's how good he was. I mean, they were raving about Chinyelu today and how good his defense was. It was incredible. Condon's starting to come into his own too.
On all Ruby Rube here.
What's Ruby looking like?
So his first year is at Washington State. We'll ignore that, okay? Because since he's been under Florida, we'll take a look at that. All right. So we'll just compare last year to this year. It's probably our best bet. So last year's what was that? Field goal percentage, 59.9, 60%. He's shooting 64% this year. Okay. Had averaged 19 minutes a game last year. He's averaging 24. Why? Because he's not fouling out, Shelton. That's why he's on the basketball court more. Yep. Free throw percentage, 58.2, 66.7%, my boy. Okay. Offensive rebounds, averaging 2.3 last year, averaging 4.1 this year. Defensive rebounds, averaging 4.2 last year, averaging 6.9. Overall rebounds, 6.6 to 11.0. Assists is the only thing that's went down from 0.07 to 0.6, whatever. Blocks, 0.9 to a full 1. Steals, 0.5 to 0.7. Personal fouls, 0.28 or 2.8 to 3, so that's actually gone up. Turnovers has gone up from 1 to 1.5, and then points averaging 6 to averaging 12 points a game. He's averaging a double-double with 11 boards and 12 points. Like you said, that is, you want to talk about silver return.
Yeah.
Was I frozen? Every time. Yeah, dude. StreamYard, bro. No issues. Just runs like a top. Yeah.
I don't have that problem.
What do you want me to do, Cody? Like,
I don't know.
It's never enough for you people.
Buy a cheaper camera. Maybe the camera's is too expensive. It's too high tech.
Bro. Maybe I just need to get on a different tab, and I'll just Google my stuff on this tab off of this server, and then I shouldn't have any issues. Am I frozen now?
That's what I do.
Yeah, no. All right.
Yeah,
that's why. Now. All right. Well, you heard me. That's all that matters. You heard the stats, and that's all that matters. And
you didn't even say anything. You just thought too. It was a great. No, I was smiling the entire time, like cheesing out. It was a good crop of you though. It was one of the better ones.
Right.
So
we'll allow it.
You look like a man in deep thought.
All right, fair enough. So,
I gotta say this too. Alex Condon, boy oh boy, talk about timing in a coming out game. Like he looked like what everybody expected him to look like. Like, truthfully, Houck was the quiet one today, and he scored 21 points today, but it felt like Condon and Chinyelu were the main stars, and then Boogie with the 27
15 points,
the 27 strips. No, just defensively. I mean, there was a period. I think it went for like 4 minutes. I don't know if Alabama hit the rim. Like, that's how suffocating it was.
Lee only had 6 points, but there was, the 6 points that I saw 2 of his plays were in transition, great plays. Again, outside of that, and I kind of said it early on, I don't need Lee to be Walter Clayton. I think that's what people are misunderstanding is like the way that Walter played last year, again, was you can't replace that. And so his style of point guard play is kind of, I like it. It's not, you're not relying on him to get it done. If I have a concern, the things that I did like about having, and how kind of provides that now, is just some guy that can go unconscious if you need it. It's going to happen in the tournament. You're going to need a guy that you can just, okay, give me the ball. I got this. I know how can do it. You don't think so?
No, not the way this team is built. I think last year it was so scary because, we don't win a national championship last year if Walter Clayton sprains an ankle. Like, I don't know if there's a piece on here that if they sprain an ankle, that we like everything gets shut down.
I hear what you're saying. I don't think we were that. We were pretty dependent on him. I'm not saying that I want us to get back to fully reliant on one guy, but I'm saying that if I need a guy to turn it on, you're gonna have to find that. Look, I think how can be that. And to be honest with you, the two teams that played in the championship game, you could argue because I think that Florida team was still a very good team last year. I think you just had Walter. Look, if we don't, but here's the thing: we don't have Walter. We don't have a guy that can take it over. We don't win the championship. But the biggest thing is though, I mean, because Houston wasn't a me guy; it was a team guy, team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there is no one dude. It was just a bunch of units. But look, I think that if you can have the one key thing is last year we had consistently pretty good guard play between Will, Elijah, and Walter.
Yeah.
That was your kind of your core. If our core is Condon, Houck, and Chenulu, what I do like about that is that those, I mean, again, if they're getting their 70 points in the paint and they're not relying on just jump shooting, they're just getting it inside and just bloop, bloop. That's much more efficient.
How many teams are going to be able to stop that too? How many teams
Correct.
are going to have enough bigs to stop that in the NCAA? Not very many. I mean, there's a couple big teams out there, but the chances of you playing them in the NCAA tournament slim, and the chances that they even make it to the next level, the Final Four is very slim. So I think this might be a hot take. This is the best Gator basketball team that we've had all around as a team. Not star power, as a team.
I don't disagree with the functionality of the team. It just the cohesion right now is something to watch. I wish we could play an Arizona or a UConn team again, just to kind of get a little bit of taste of that physicality, because I think those teams match up well with that, and that's where I think we haven't seen that yet. It hasn't been this new rotation, this newfound form hasn't been tested, and I think that's where it's easy to get a little carried away. Nor is the SEC nowhere near as good as it was last year. So
yeah,
look, we saw an Auburn team just 2 weeks ago shut them down, and that to me is still concerning because they found a way defensively to close it off. And so we're beatable. We've lost 6 games. So it's not like we're impenetrable, right? We've got to be real on that. But I agree with the sense that, look, I think that team last year, because Ruben Ginyulu wasn't playing near as good, Condon wasn't playing that well, Houck showed up late, but the play from those guards was just something special last year, and it carried a lot of the way. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's interesting also too that last year's team, it seemed like they couldn't put a whole game together, and this team is definitely finding its rhythm. Obviously not really good, but it's not like we got blown out by UConn and Arizona. Those were still very tight games.
Sure.
They were lost by last second drives, last second scores. So you weren't even playing your best basketball. UConn and Arizona definitely looked better than you did that day, and you still held it within 2 points. I think that just shows you what this team is about. And now that they've found their defensive, I mean, this defense is it's suffocating. I mean, the defense was good last year at times, but at times there would be times where teams could score at will and make runs. But that graphic that you showed a couple weeks ago about like how runs just never happen, Alabama couldn't get a run to save their life. They were hauling up threes, and a very good 3% shooting team. They were throwing threes to save their life. If they didn't have a 3 game, I mean, that would have been lost by 50.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not able to keep up with their 3-point play, which is something that they kind of live by a lot. And again, I love the fact that they bring back their NBA G League guy, and he absolutely just struggles, right? I mean, he absolutely gets cooked, and the fan base had a blast with it as well too.
Yeah,
calling a G League dropout, incredible stuff. So great win. Look, you talked your smack a couple weeks ago, him being Todd Golden. Nate Oates threw some shade just a couple days ago, talking about we get like 6-7 seconds inside the paint. And Todd Golden responded with, I feel like we had 70 points in the paint today. We took about 1, maybe 2 seconds and then scored. So love the little bit of a swagger and an aura they got going on right now, the Todd Golden, the boys. So good stuff. Also, let's talk about this some cool stuff here for High Top Sports. So if you guys don't know, Drop the Maybe Cuz, where that kind of stemmed from was this young man, Isaac Edelman, which I believe that's how it's pronounced. He's a beat writer or reporter / whatever. I think he's Florida Victoria. I think he's an intern. And he was there day one for the interview and then asked a question that had some misinformation and then said maybe. And that's where John goes, ain't no maybe, drop the maybe cuz. And obviously they becomes famous. We make a t-shirt, obviously, duh. I mean, who wouldn't? And I don't know who's wearing the shirt here. if you know who's wearing the shirt, I want to give them a shout out because I know they quoted it, but I don't know who had it on originally. So once I figure that out, we'll say who it was. But Isaac sees the shirt, takes picture of said shirt, and then tags us and Coach Sumrall, and I commented. I was like, what a legend to Isaac for like leaning into it, because this quote came from him kind of getting a jab from Sumrall, right? And then the coolest thing in the world happened. Coach John Sumrall retweeted the tweet. And that's just pretty freaking sick to have. I mean, it's his quote, but great shirt, great tweet, great retweet. And shout out to the guy who wore it in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I knew who it was.
Shout out to the guy that retweeted the shop link too. Hopefully we got a bunch of sales on that.
Yeah, true that. True. No, but we all dropped the ball on that. I was just kind of in utter shock, if I'm being quite honest with you.
I was like, oh shit, I gotta retweet the shop link so they can go and find it and buy it.
Yeah, it was a cool moment for sure. I want to see who.
Bro, Coach Summerall from like 7 p.m. to about like 9:30, 10 p.m. He's recruiting fans, just dropping little gators on everybody. I mean, he's just making everybody's day.
He's leaning into it, man, and he has to. But I think he's done a good job with the social media part of it. I think the fan base has needed somebody like this. He's got to go win football games, right? But I think he's doing a good job of winning the off the field antics, which, Napier. Look, to me, this is where
Did
this
Napier
is actually
ever
pretty
sit?
huge.
Did Napier ever sit on the sideline?
Yeah, so this was going to be my next thing. Did Cam post a photo? Do we have a photo of that? I think this is bigger than what people think. I don't have here it is. Bang, bang. I mean, we're hot on the mic. We're hot on the mic. This is all encompassed to me is this photo plus this tweet are all hand in hand, because this is marketing. This is how you generate money to the NIL. Mm-hmm. You express love and appreciation to your fan base by being interactive on Twitter, by being interactive on just social media, by showing you flying around, going to recruits. That shows that you're all in, that you're devoted to the job at hand, to the task at hand. And so when we are, and this is what we've always claimed for, is like we just want to see our money, our return on our investment. And I know this sounds crazy, but seeing your coach fly around and do those things is half that, right? Sitting courtside is just another key component of, like, Billy would go to the games, but he'd be sitting kind of up top, and like where you sit's not a big deal. But for me, it's advertising. It's marketing. Guess what? When he sits behind Coach Golden, the announcers are going to talk about him because they're going to see him there. Do you know who he's also sitting next to? For anybody who doesn't know who that handsome, well-tanned human being worth $1 billion sitting next to him? Do you know who that is? I'll tell you who it is. It's Mr. Huge Hathcock. Huge cock sitting there, okay? That's who that is in the bright orange polo, who's there every game. That guy's got a front row seat. When you pay for the 2 guards that are playing, you can sit wherever you want. I'm surprised he's not sitting in a golden seat. You know what he's doing? Shaking hands, kissing babies, baby. He's working. He's working that right now. And I love that. He knows where the check is. Yo, Hugh, I need you, baby. I need you in my court. I'm going to come sit with you. I'm going to come and do what you do. This is business. This is Hugh's golf course. Okay? And so these were things that we spoke about with Napier of, like, can he handle these types of conversation when he first came in? John's got aura and a swagger like nobody's business. He's like, yeah, let me get a spot next to Hugh. I got some things we got to talk about. I need some extra cheddar. I need an extra Billy slid this way. I love it.
I mean, it was a cool dynamic today too, because they would pan in and him and Todd Golden, like, were going wild. Like, when Chinyalu came off the court, when they pulled the first stringers at the end, like, it looked like those two have been best friends forever. And, like, just seeing your best friend just absolutely dominate and strive at everything he's doing, like, it almost looked like that those guys have been like broskies since kindergarten. You know what I mean? It just, the dynamic between those two is incredible.
And here's the thing. Todd Golden has done something that you want to do. won national championships. He's won an SEC championship. So
Yeah.
what people don't realize is that part of what's wrong with our society is we see someone having success and versus just run towards that person like they're like everyone else is on fire and they're water. We run away from them. We get intimidated. We get scared. That guy knows how to win. I know it's in a different sport, but he understands. He also knows how to get money. Okay, because he got a lot of money to buy the 2 highest guards. Whether it's been more worth it or not, time will tell on that. I think Boogie's starting to earn his rep, and Lee's is so, but knows how to work the ins and outs. You want to be associated with that. You want to surround yourself with a champion. You're blessed enough to have somebody that's tasted it in this league at an elite level. Again, I know it's a different sport, but it's the mindset. It's being in that presence. How do they function? How do they operate from a day-to-day basis? I want to be infused with it. I want to breathe it, eat it, and sleep it as much as I possibly can so I can go, we're not doing this. These are small details that Todd's doing, and I know how to translate it to college football that I'm not doing right now. And again, this is why, like, will it work? I don't know. But what we do know, what you can tell is like, hey, like, Cody, are you going to beat a sub-5 on the 40? I don't know. We got 3 months to figure that out. But are you doing everything in your power right now to get there? Hell yeah. And I feel pretty confident that you're going to do the best that you can. You're still old and a little wobbly, so who knows if your body's going to hold up to everything you're putting up to it. There's still variables we don't know, right? That Achilles may not make it to April. But I know we're putting everything into it. I think that's where I'm at right now is I'm seeing everything that he's doing to put into it. And I'm juiced, brother. I'm juiced.
My grandfather, very, very, very wise man. And, you have some family also that's very successful. Those guys don't go and hang out with slums on the weekends. You know what I mean? You know who those guys go and hang out with? Guys that they want to be.
Yeah.
They don't hang out with people that are beneath them. They hang out with guys that they want to be. My grandfather, he had multiple successful businesses. When he got into real estate the first time, he made good friends with a guy that had he had like, I don't know, 9,000 apartments and houses, single family homes in New Orleans. Every time one would go up for tax code evasion, he would just buy it up and flip it. And so, my grandfather was like, well, this guy's a self-made millionaire, has a yacht. I want to be like that. I'm going to go hang out with him and buy him dinner and pick his brain, and his knowledge is very powerful. It's 2 totally different sports, but the mental capacity of what a championship team goes through, looks like, and has to accomplish during the season, it's the same. I mean, it's no different than the track. The track coach when he met the track coach today, he's like, "Oh, I know about you. Like we're gonna be talking about, because the track coach has won how many national championships? Yeah, he's a dog. So I think that the best thing about the same
thing is we keep talking to Urban. I mean, I don't think Billy like even breathed the word Urban in his time here. Now, Urban was obviously, I think, on a different pulse during that time as well too. But the only person he did mention was Spurrier a handful of times, but it was more so because Spurrier was being critical. And I think he mentioned it because his wife said something. I think it's like you are in a place where, look, there's a point of having an ego, which I've always said. I think as a head coach, you have to have an ego and belief that, I can do this and I've got what it takes. But there's also the point where it's like, you've got to know, like, hey, these guys have done it. You have to have the humility to have that conversation and be okay to ask for help. And Sumrall has been very open about that as well, too. I want to share this clip that Martha sent us. Shout out to Martha. She just put $5 in there. And also, too, from Joseph, this basketball team is playing like they have something to prove, and I freaking love it. Guys, put on a show tonight. Gator boys, stay hot. Yeah, I think that's huge, too, is that they're still hungry. I mean, you just won a national championship. How easy is it for you to get complacent? They're not playing that way at all. They're playing as if, I don't even remember we won last year kind of mentality. Take a look at this clip here, though, of old Coach John. And again, it's just, look, I know we're going to get flack for this. It's the offseason award, blah, 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 blah. For me, as a fan, I'm not even going to say it. I don't even care. F them. I love this video. I love this video of old coach. We don't need the audio. Excuse me. Handing out pizzas, Domino pizzas to everybody. Again, it's freezing. There's snow flurries. These cats waiting in line. It's like, look, let's keep these boys fueled. And it's just such a small, easy gesture of like, look, here's what I like. Again, humility. When we talk, when people were giving Sumrall flack of like, why are you wearing the logo, coach? You haven't earned it yet. This is what he's doing. This is earning the logo. He's earning each and every one of these fans' respect and appreciation to come out and support the Florida Gators. He knows where it starts. Look, big thing my grandpa always told me, and I love, and why, and Kyle Petty said this too with NASCAR. He always would say and sign every autograph. And I try to take that same approach when we go out and meet people of like, I'm very grateful when people say hi to me because I know that I wouldn't exist without the people that watch this show. Like, I'm not an idiot. And that's the part of it. That's half the battle for Summerall of like, look, like, sure, we are the University of Florida, but I want your support. I want you to give back to the Florida Victorious. I want you to buy tickets. Well, you do that by you liking me and liking what I'm doing. And I don't know. These are small things, small little W's. Look, kids are still at school for his family's still in Louisiana. He's taking full advantage of his family not being there. I'll tell you that.
Is it true they camp out to get good tickets or something? Is that how the student section works?
Yeah.
So it's like first come, first serve?
It's mayhem. Yeah, it's mayhem, bro. Yeah, it's sick.
Wow.
It's been crazy for the last 2 years because so my sister, right, she goes to UF and she went to she got season tickets, and season tickets for like students, you get it to every game, right? Football, basketball, every sporting event you get a ticket to when you buy the tickets. And the first year, her freshman year, like we weren't good at anything. So you still have to go wait in line to get the spots, right? But she doesn't go to any of the basketball games. She's like, now that they're good, like it's miserable to get a spot. Like it's too busy. She's
like, better when they were losing.
Yeah, she liked it when they were losing. Yeah, because she just liked the more of just going and hanging out. You know what I mean? Like she wasn't really like didn't care for the craziness. I was like, she drives me nuts with that shit. But
we'd be camping out.
Yeah. Two different breeds.
Hey, I think we could pass as a student. I think she needs to hand them things up, but just slide the ID card over. We'll do the old school, put a little picture over it, little tape. They'll never know.
I mean, so when I was out of school already. I wasn't that much older, but there was Charles. He's from Europe. He's much taller than I am, but I had much blonder hair, and he had blonde hair, and I used his ID to get into the Gator game. So
really,
been there, done that. Yeah,
that's awesome. The student section's where it's at too. Them boys are wild.
Yeah, well, I went to the football side, not the basketball side.
Gotcha.
But let's talk about Shad. You gotta change the logo, bro. You got me in shambles for a minute. Like I was like, yo, who's on our account? You gotta find an alternative, bro. You got stressing me out there, big guy. I was like, what, bro? I mean, a blender.
I didn't type anything.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yo, what's going on? Let's talk about this here, boys. You can't see this. That sucks. It's just a schedule. So I wanted to talk about the success. What does success look like for Sumrall in his first year? Right? That was something we talked about with Ali Peak, I think, last week. And she said 8-4 would be a successful season for her. And I think when you can put a number on it, that's a healthy start. That's a good place to start. But my other thing is, what are other components that are successful? What would you consider a successful season? Again, 8-4 is going to be your baseline. That tells you everything you need to know. But can you go 7-5 and still have a successful season if things align right?
Yeah, this is the problem. Is you just got me all pumped up on the juice. I'm thinking 10-2.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. Look, I think this is a baseline, right? I think that. Again, what's a successful season? What we want and what is needed to be successful are two different things. Like what we think can happen and what we need to happen are two different things.
Let's break this down real fast. Florida Atlantic, feel good about that. Okay, that's going to be both quarterbacks probably getting to show what they got. Campbell Camels, I'd have to say again, you're getting both quarterbacks to be able to show what they have, and then at Auburn, tough place to play, new coach. Quarterback we've seen before. You don't know what they're going to be on defense.
Yeah.
They've lost a lot of talent, so you don't know what that's going to look like. I would say it's probably going to be pretty similar to the USF game, talent wise, which we should win that. Old Miss. I mean, if they don't get the death penalty, Old Miss, I think is winnable. It's at home. I don't see anything special with them. The defense isn't any better. They have Lacey. He's a hammer. You're gonna have to corral him for sure. But I think they definitely took a step back. Wouldn't you say?
Who's that?
Ole Miss.
It's going to be interesting. I feel like they did well in some places, and they also dropped some areas as well too. But it just depends on. I don't know. It's a lot of unknown, to be quite honest with you. The quarterback room is going to be, I think, a little bouncy. I'm trying to see the schedule. Like, if it's 7, right? That would mean you got 2 wins at Florida Atlantic, Campbell. Let's say I think South Carolina should be a win, although they're bringing back a ton of experienced offensive line. I think that game could be harder than we think. At Texas is going to be tough. Georgia's going to be tough. Oklahoma's going to be tough. I think Kentucky, Vandy, and FSU can be dubbed. So there's 3 there. We've got 2 up there. That's 5. And then you got to find 2 more, right? And I think that comes from either Auburn, Ole Miss, Mizzou, and South Carolina. And I think that 2 wins are definitely capable there. So you win one of your big rivals against Florida State, and then you lose Georgia with that mindset. Again, I'm not expecting. I'm just trying to see how you see 7, and then if you want to win 9, right? I think that same 4-game stretch at Auburn, Ole Miss at home, at Missouri. I think that game's open, and then you got South Carolina back at home. You very easily could start off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row, 6 in a row. Mm-hmm. And then you got to find 3 games, which we just said at the back half of the game. But if you start off 6-0 at Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma, and then Oklahoma at home, you could pop one of those. You could very easily pop one of those. So, again, it's the cool part about the college football landscape. And again, I kind of spoke to this too, because it's hard to say, hey, yeah, we can go 7-5. But if we find a quarterback and we see some growth there, it's not like your day of age where, you can have something to build off of like you used to. Yeah. And so it's hard to kind of like, can you see carryover? Because that's the downfall is, can you really build on anything? Because then retention is going to be a whole nother animal. Once again, like, that's exhausting. That's the tough part.
Yeah, it's gonna be definitely interesting. I think Missouri's kind of a sneaky game at Missouri. Don't know what time that kickoff is gonna be. I hate going to Missouri. That's a sneaky team that they could probably get you if you don't have if you're not focused.
No doubt, they're exhausting. Yeah, but here's the thing though. What I like though is here's why I'm excited. I feel like we've got finally some good coaching staff that counter a lot of these people.
Yeah,
I think Buster's going to be able to throw things at Mizzou that is going to keep their defense at bay. Offensively, I feel like they're going to be a shell of themselves. I know they bring back one of the best running backs in the SEC. He was exciting to watch last year, but I went to their bowl game and I watched kind of what the future was going to hold for Mizzou. They had their starting quarterback and they still have their running back in, and they were in a dogfight with Virginia and ultimately ended up losing. They only scored once. They just didn't have the offense like they did with Bo Pribula, and they're losing their offensive coordinator. So I think that offense is going to take a massive step back. I think defensively they'll have things they'll be able to throw at you, and they like to kind of make it muddy. But I feel like that might play into our favor finally this year because of the way this team is going to be ran.
I think at Texas is probably the hardest game that you have on the entire schedule. Tough place to play.
I agree.
I don't know what the schedule looks like for Texas coming into it, but I'm sure the SEC, like always, gave them a gift, and I'm sure they play like the school of the blind or somebody before us. South Carolina, I'm not really worried about at home. If it was at South Carolina, yeah, maybe. Georgia, I think we beat Georgia this year. That some people can say that's crazy. I again just don't. I think that they have gotten leaner and leaner and leaner every single year, and we've gotten closer and closer and closer to beating them. I think this is the year. Oklahoma's going to be tough. That defense is nasty. Now, my question is what John Mateer we're going to get. we going to get bionic thumb where he can lace it in there, or are we going to get the shell of the offense of what we've seen before with Oklahoma? And then here's another one. People aren't going to like this, but until we beat Kentucky, I'm taking Kentucky as a loss at Kentucky. Terrible place to play. They routed us the last couple of years. It's just been they've had our number. Will Stein's
I would agree with you, but that now that Stoops gone, it's going to be a different animal.
I agree,
I hear what you're saying. I hear you, but it's not. If it had the same, it's not going to be the same. And I'm not saying that we still can't lose. That's not what I'm getting at all. But the reason I think we had to struggle was because Stoops was just more experienced. I think I think that's it's much more open than it was before. If I had to pick the 3 hardest games on the schedule for me right now, it's got to be Georgia, Texas, and Oklahoma. And look, Jason, and I was going to say, a lot of Oklahoma fans are not sold on material, which is very crazy. I mean, I would think coming into it that I would be ecstatic to have material on my side, but he kind of showed that he just didn't have it in him the last couple of years. So for Texas, they're going to have some fights. They play Ohio State, Tennessee, and Oklahoma before we play them. So you're going to know pretty damn quick who Texas is right away. We'll know if they're going to be about it. And very similar to last year, their schedule is they go kind of through a similar track that they did prior to playing us, and I think we have a little bit of an easier schedule than prior. But yeah, I think going to Texas, they're going all in, and it's going to be a great test. It's going to be a great game as well. I'm very excited about it. But yeah, that 3-game stretch at Texas versus Georgia and then Oklahoma at home. And I think South Carolina could be sneaky good too. That one's an interesting one. That 4-game stretch could really, again, we talked about it last year. Florida had a gauntlet. Problem was we went through that gauntlet with losing games we weren't supposed to lose. One being the USF game, and then you had to win one from the gauntlet. And out of the gauntlet was with Miami, LSU, and A&M, and we didn't win. I think Texas was in that mix too. We did pull off Texas. But
my thing is by October, you should be playing your best football. If you get a big win over South Carolina and you can pull one off at Texas, I don't know. I think you can run the schedule, because this is my question with this team, and it's a weird sports philosophy thing where, dude, some teams just don't know how to win. Like, they can't get out of their own way. All super talented. I see it, you can look all the way from Pop Warner to high school, to college. Like, some of these groups of kids just they can't get it done. They don't know how to win. They've never won. It's just like, almost like they just can't get out of their own way. They're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, the boogeyman. And that's my question with this team is a boogeyman off your back by then? Like, can this team win? Can this team sustain success? Something that hasn't done in 4 years. Can this team take a little momentum and not just totally, pee down their leg? I think with this coaching, staff, I think that's going to be their biggest. That's going to be their hardest hurdle. It's not talent. It's not weightlifting. It's not athletes. It's not retaining players. It's getting these players again believing that they're a winning team.
Yeah, and so somebody says, what are odds of over under? Vegas doesn't have that yet. Eric says 8-4 mean losing to Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, and Mizzou are potential losses in my opinion. That's not successful to me. 9-3 minimum shows we compete and can win. I mean, I think you're kind of saying. I mean, I think 8-4 would mean in a year that we've coming back, I think would show success personally. You could shuffle up the 4 losses because that also means we beat Oklahoma and we beat a lot of other teams, which is FSU. Which is a rival. We beat Kentucky. That's obviously up and coming again, who beat us last year. We beat a Final Four team at Ole Miss. Or no, you have us losing Ole Miss. A South Carolina team. You have us beating who else? Auburn. I would say that was a pretty healthy schedule if you're able to go 8-4. I get it. I want to go 9-3 too, but I wouldn't say 8-4 would be a complete and utter failure. But that's kind of where I'm at.
I don't know why, but I feel really good about beating Ole Miss. I just think they're not going to have the firepower like they had in prior years. I think you'll be able to. I think if you can kind of weather the storm from their good running back you know he's going to get his and just shut everything else down, I think you're just fine and you're going to beat him by 2 touchdowns. You know, it's going to be interesting. You know, and if this offense is clicking, like we've seen, you know, in past years of what this offensive coordinator can do, it could get scary for a lot of teams. Here's
Jason
here.
says this, and then Q Lee says something that I find very intriguing. The Florida game is wearing me out. On the road against a well-coached football team with their best running back and a monster edge scares me as an OU fan, plus Mateer sucks. And I think they could find themselves in a similar place to what, you know, Miami was this year in the middle of the Oklahoma, where they've got good pieces, they've got good trench work, but if they're not trusted in Mateer, like people weren't trusted in Beck, we win that game if we have a efficient offense, right?
Yep.
And this isn't me taking a shot towards Miami, just at the time that we played them, that's how things were. And Oklahoma could find that at the same way. Look, and Q says, I fear nobody on the schedule, and Nugget ain't the mega power anymore. That's the one thing that it's very interesting. And again, I think the expectation is that, yes, can we have a little bit of a setback and a rebuild? Sure, possibly. But with how much parity there is in college football with the transfer portal, the patience is going to get, you know, more and more thin. I mean, again, do with what you want. Indiana is set the tone. They did that to everyone else. I mean, 2 years now, they've lost 2 games, and able to have success right away. And a lot of that comes down to good coaching, which is what I'm excited about. I think that because of the parity in college football, the separation, this is what I say as well. I don't believe that you need a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top spending NIL, because I don't feel like it's that much more of an advantage, right? You got to do it like you're not buying 22 elite guys. You can buy, they might get 12, we get 8, right? That's the difference. If you can overcome 4 people, you weren't going to with 4 more. Let's be honest. So, do those guys make a difference? You have another body that's there. Coach them, develop, scheme for it. And if you can coach well, you can develop well. You have good strength and conditioning, and I feel like that's where Florida has done a good job at least attacking at this moment, as well every team. I'm not saying that we're going to be just completely able to run through it. I just don't feel like we're as far back or far behind the 8 ball as it may seem, because you are resetting with a new coaching staff. I think we almost kind of took a leap forward with the changes that have been made. And so I agree that there's no one on the schedule that intimidates me at all. Like, you guys know me, I'm a fan, so I always go into every game feeling very excited. There were games last year, once we saw who we had, I was like, we were just like we were excited for just a drive. Like, holy shit, here we go. Like, it was depressing. And that's where I mean, again, I had the same expectations headed into that season. I don't regret having those expectations. And again, listen, this is sports. You walk in with the expectation of being heartbroken. All right. So, but I do believe, look, the one thing that I think Georgia, if there is a game that I have that I will circle, that always is, that will make my bubble guts stand up more than anything, it's always Georgia. Why? Because I believe they have the best coach in college football, if not one of the best coaches in college football, in Kirby Smart. The ability to adjust, get into your head, and muddy the game. That's what he's going to do. And that's a consistent that's owned Florida for the last couple of years. So that game worries me more than any of them, right? We can go through all these games and find holes of how to beat them.
Yeah.
Right.
I just find it interesting too about some other fan bases. Like, so like if you asked Hall of Fame, if you asked Jason like 2 years ago, like, oh, how do you feel about Florida versus Florida versus Oklahoma? He's like, we're gonna beat the shit out of you. Now he's like, oh, they actually got a coach.
Crazy,
like,
right?
this is gonna be a problem.
Hit the football field yet? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you kind of look at those pieces, and here's what I think fired me up and has me feeling ultra confidence was the film breakdown with Seth Farnador.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even worried about the defense. And that may be a hot take that I regret, but I can't right now because I trust Sumrall in that. I just think that with what a ranking came out from SEC guys, they ranked the offensive coordinators. Buster ranked 3rd in their ranking, which was great. Defensive coordinators, Brad White ranked, I think, 12th, but behind him was, like every other Florida Gators past defensive coordinator, it was Jay Bateman, Ron Roberts, and Patrick Toney. Because Patrick Toney's at Ole Miss.
Yeah. Good.
Which is crazy. So, like, think about that. That's their new DC. for Ole Miss, which we know what he's capable of, and we play two of those defenses. I think, yeah, because Bateman's at Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, Bateman at Kentucky, and we don't play Ron Roberts, who's at Arkansas, but yeah, I forgot where I was going with that, but something about the coaching staff. Lost my train of thought.
It definitely is a better coaching staff. Notoriety.
The film breakdown. The film breakdown.
Yeah.
Watching Seth break down the film and just showing the different ways that he wins with his play calling and how the execution, again, when we would watch it before, and I was complimenting of Billy because, like, hey, we're like, it's predictable, but when it's efficient, it's run well. This offense, we were watching the film and we were like, and he had like a select few plays. We didn't know where the ball was going. And I don't even think the quarterback knew the ball was going right until the snap happened and he saw where a guy broke. Like we saw this quarterback truly reading the defense and destroying it. But also seeing it's like, if X does that, I still have Y and Z I could have went to here. And if you looked at it, like all three options were open because the defense, like he said, can't cheat to one side. It has to be true. And that's why George is able to have success against offense like him or them, because they are very well coached and well talented to make up for some of those holes. And so you're going to have to get a little more creative, right? And although in Georgia Tech has been a great fight for the last couple of years because it's very hard to cover. Where I think that he's going to really be able to exploit defenses now is the speed that he's going to have. Eric Singleton was his dude at Georgia Tech. Now he has Eric Singleton paired with Jaden Ball in the backfield. Eric, what's the last kid? The other kid, the Cincinnati kid. Not to mention VB3 and Dallas Wilson. Like you want to talk about cheating aside, you can't cheat on nobody. You got to hold every single corner down. And he spoke to some of the strengths that Philo had is his ability, his quickness, his quick release, his ability to read a defense and get rid of it fast. One of the fastest releases he's seen. So, and he was very complimentary of Jamel Jones too.
Yeah, and I really think that, you look at that Georgia Tech game last year. Didn't they go to like 12 overtimes? Like, wasn't it like, if I remember correctly, it was like a gauntlet. Like, I think the only thing that Haynes King was torching them with like 10, 15, 20-yard runs. But it's funny because Singleton, like, we don't even really talk about him. He's just like there. Like, it's weird. Like, we don't even have him on a team, but we do. I guess he just doesn't. It's just not as flashy because Dallas Wilson's obviously the big name and stuff like that. But you almost kind of forget about him until he's there. Singleton
is absolutely massive. I mean that, like, you have 3 wide receiver ones.
Yeah,
that's what you have.
3 different wide receiver ones.
You have a true running back 1 and a true running back 1A.
Yeah,
1B, whatever you want to call it.
And they're all different. That's the best part.
It's great. And I think the tight end play is going to be exceptional. I think the boys are not cooked with a tight end room, bro. I'm telling you what, real quick. $5 from Junior. So John Sumrall blood is type is AK-47. We going 9-3 GMF, yo. I love it. Sean, I need my song tonight, okay? Martha just come and just bullying shit. You know what I mean?
She does bully sometimes. It works though.
It does. We'll play it. Me personally can't stand losing to FSU Gators. I agree, Michael. I can't. I hate it. I hate it more than anything else. Well, great show.
Yep.
Good show. Good little pickup there. We'll have our show tomorrow morning live at 7:05, 7:50, whenever I wake up. Wait. Stephen Harris just texted me. Make sure I'm not in trouble.
I got to go to the gym here in a little bit, so I got leg day.
Filibuster? That's what we circled, yeah. If you like to comment, let's see. Filibuster? This right here.
Filibuster.
I love it.
Like it.
I love it. I love it long time.
What's up,
right, boys?
Dave? Way to come in at the end.
Yeah, nice you to show up, Dave. Not like you're doing anything.
Yeah, I go squat for my life here.
Close it down.
This is Cody. Sitting here with Miss Martha and her sweet sister on the line and a cold one in my hand.
Cold water.
Mess. It's Martha Mondays, baby.
Yo, it's Cody from High Top. Orange and
in
blue.
the memory of, like I'm dead.
Martha on the porch, twin sister on the phone, ringing again. 70 years young, but she still throw the horns up. Sipping craft while the Gators run the score up. Sweet tea and cold brew, orange and blue. Martha and Cody, what we finna do? Crack a can, rate it 1 to 10. Gator chomp on the porch, Martha Mondays again. This IPA tastes like a lawnmower's dream, but I